Hi everyone and welcome to another video. Today I have with me the P1 Gen 6. Yeah, the new one. And it got some nice features and specifications. Now the P1 Gen 6, as you can see for the name or hear for the name, has been around for 6 years by this time. It's a wonderful machine. We love it. There are some downsides for having this machine over the other P series devices, but we'll go over it. So let's open up the device, shall we? The box, sorry, not the device. Ooh. So that's probably the charger, which is really heavy. We'll get there in a second, but let's open it up. Let me fix it just a second. So it's coming inside this really nice cloth. It feels like you are taking down some ties out from the device. So you cannot keep it as a cloth to keep your device. So yeah, that's the P1 Gen 6. Let's go over first the charger. So that's the charger. As you can see, it comes new in a nylon. I don't know, for some reason this charger feels a little bit extra heavier than the rest of the 230 that I had, but maybe it's just me. It's kind of big, but not too big, and yeah, that's just it. So the P1 Gen 6, let's go over the port and see if there is any difference between the model years that we had. So on the right side, we have a Kensington lock, two USB 3.2 I guess. This one is being used as a charging port as well for your phone. So let's say, for example, your device is in the bag and you want to charge up your laptop without turning on, then you just connect the cable to this one and you're charging up your device. And we have another port, which is the SD card full size. On the back, we have nothing. On the left side, we have an auxiliary port, HDMI, two Thunderbolt 4. Thunderbolt Gen 4, Thunderbolt 4, whatever, Type-C, and a charger port. On the front, again, we have nothing. On the back, as we seen in the last few years, there is basically nothing, and it's not being changed over the time. I mean, it's been like that for, again, 6 years, and there is no difference. It's a really nice design because there is a really good airflow. But apart from that, there is just nothing new. So why do I say it's not been changed for the last few years, almost all over a half decade, is that I have over here the X1 Extreme, its brother, which basically the X1 Extreme stands for more normal user and not a workstation. Like, let's say, the main difference is the graphics card. The X1 Extreme, the line which has been discontinued, had the NVIDIA graphics, the RTX line, and the P1 had the Quadro line, and those were the main differences. And you could probably get the X1 with this nice texture of carbon fiber, but except for that, you can even see from the, let's start from the left, you'll see the ports, they are the same. On the right, they are the same. On the back, they are the same. Even the dimensions are the same. So what I'm trying to say is, Lenovo, get a hold of yourself, make a change. So enough talk, let's open up the P1 Gen 6. So again, very similar to last year's device look. From the feel and the look, and which again, that's the device which I'm using on a daily basis, I cannot see any difference, not at all. I mean, the trackpad is new, so it's really smooth, and the keyboard feels a little bit more longer to type on, but maybe it's just being new. The colors, even the sticker is very similar, and yeah, that's the new one. But let's open it up and see hardware, what changes, we're done. So let's start from the keyboard and go from there. So the keyboard, again, same thing as last year, maybe a little bit taller because I do feel like it's really nice to the touch. But yeah, there is no really difference. Let's have a test for writing and see if there is any news to it. Same device, different year, P1 Gen 6. So yeah, the keyboards as usual for Lenovo are great and really fun to type on. They are quiet, smooth, and just feel overall good. And the trackpad, well, as you can say, smooth, and it's just precise, just doing its job. You can see my finger moves, and you can see the finger moves just at the same speed, and well, that's part of the part of the reason is the screen, but we'll get to that really soon in a second. So you might have noticed that the screen is really smooth, and I mean from the YouTube video you can barely see it because it's been filmed on 60 Hz, filmed FPS, never mind. But the screen is, as you can see, Ultra HD with 165 Hz, which means really smooth screen, and it can get really bright, good colors, good accuracy. And if we go to display, well, at least this one has even some color profiles. So again, wonderful display, and yeah. So let's start specs. So this device has the 13th gen Intel Core i7 13700H. The 700H means that that's the basic, well, at least the basic i7H for the 13th gen for the laptops. There is, or at least should be, 800 and 850 like last year, but that's the basic one. It has 24 megabytes of L3 cache. It has 14 cores, just like last year, and 20 threads. Again, just like last year. There is no big difference between this CPU and the last year's CPU, but that's going to be with the benchmarks test. Now the RAM. This device comes with 32 gigs of RAM. It supports up to 128 gigs of RAM. I don't recommend that on this device, but it could handle it. The speed of the RAM is 5600 megahertz. It's really cool, really nice to see. The faster RAM is, the faster overall the usage of the devices. I mean, it's both between the CPU RAM and the hard drive, but the RAM is the main one that does most of the job when it comes to showing stuff and bringing it up from the SSD. Never mind. It just means that it's a good thing. And for the SSD. So again, this one comes with 1 terabyte. And it's by Kioxia, La Kioxia, and again, really weird name, KX G8AZNV1T02. How they are getting with these names? Now about the graphics card, this one comes with Intel UHD graphics. I tried to look out for what UHD graphics it is, like 560, 630, whatever, but I couldn't find it. It just says DirectX 12, which I don't think it means anything. Anyways, that's not the main graphics card. The main graphics card is the NVIDIA GeForce RTX4060, a laptop GPU. What it means is that the P1 series does not come anymore, or at least with this device, or you can get it with much higher consumer grade graphics card. So I think you can get it up to 4080. I think, maybe I'm wrong, maybe 470, but it just means that you'll have more possibilities and you can do some different things with the graphics that we usually get with the P1. So it's a nice change that Lenovo did, and we are saying thank you for that. Now let's test the speakers. So as you can see, the speakers are top firing. But there is one thing that I can say about the P1 that is really unique for Lenovo, is that these speakers on this device, like every year since I think the Gen 2, they were perfect. They were good. You could hear music and it was great. But let's start the test and see how it feels and what do you think. Sorry. You can feel the bass. So as you saw from the test, the electricity cable fell and everything moved around. But the speakers on this device are wonderful. I mean, if you are editing music and you want a laptop that has nice speakers with some bass, yes, you can get the Mac. But if you want a Windows machine, that's the way to go. That's the way to go. Lenovo pushed with these speakers and I really like it ever since they came out with this device, and they are just perfect. 10 out of 10 for Windows. I can't tell you more than just go ahead and test one yourself. And now for the Lakaioxia SSD test. So let it run and I'll be back once it's finished. And we're back with the numbers. So the read speeds are 7,000, thank God, finally a round number. And the write speeds are 5,515. Now, I had really recently a test with a P16 Gen 2, and you'll later see it in video. You can check it up below. What I'm trying to say is the read speeds are fine. I mean, the P16 was extra 100 speeds, but the write speeds of the P16 were like 500 faster. I guess it depends on the type of the SSD manufacturer, what Lenovo gives us with the device. The speeds are fine, but you could get a little bit extra juice from that. Maybe a firmware update would fix that. And now for the CPU and GPU benchmarks. Let's start with the CPU benchmark, and first I'll do it without the charger, and you'll be able to see that it's been disconnected for the whole test. And the next test will be with the charger. So let's start with the CPU, and I'll be back once it's finished. Now, before I show you the numbers, you can check out again in the description. There is a test for the P1 Gen 5 for the extreme version, for the one with the A4500 GPU, whatever. You can check it out. But let's keep checking this laptop. And we're back with the numbers. So as we can see, single core is 969, almost 1,000. The multi-core is 7,015. Now the single core is kind of lame, I'll give it that, but the multi-core is great. I mean, without a charger and showing these kind of numbers, it just means that this CPU is for multitask oriented. Let me show you the rest of the numbers and we go for the next test. And again, same test, but this time with a charger. You can see it blinking. So let's run again the CPU benchmark and see if there is any difference. I'll be back. Now that's what I'm talking about. That's more what an i7 looks like. Single core 1819 and multi-core 12,652. So the single core is finally at a decent number. So more juice means more power, as we might want to. And multi-core is just wonderful. Almost double, but it's still a fine number. Let me show you the rest of the numbers and we go to the next test. And now for the GPU benchmark. Now, usually I'm doing all of them in an order that's really weird, but let's try to change it. So this time I'll be doing the OpenCL UHD graphics and then the Vulkan UHD graphics, and after that we'll do all of them but with NVIDIA. So stay tuned. But let's start with the OpenCL for the UHD graphics, the ones that are coming with the 13th Gen i7H. And I'll be back once it's done. So the Intel onboard GPU brought us 17,823 score on the OpenCL test. So let me show you the rest of the numbers and we go to the next test. And again, Intel UHD graphics on the Vulkan test. Let's try it out and I'll be back once it's finished. And we're back. So the UHD graphics got really respectable number from the Vulkan score, 60,702. Let me show you the rest of the numbers and we'll go to the NVIDIA RTX4060 laptop GPU tests. Yeah, it's a mouthful. And now for the NVIDIA RTX4060 laptop GPU tests. So let's run it up and I'll be back once the benchmark is finished. And we're back for the CODA score of NVIDIA RTX4060. And the number is 86,066. Means good. Let me show you the rest of the numbers. And we go to the next test. And now for the OpenCL for the RTX 4060. I'll be back once this one is finished. And we're back with the OpenCL score of 88,044. Now, if you are wondering and you don't remember what was the score for the UHD graphics, well, let me remind you, that was the score. Almost, I would say 6 times the number. Anyways, those are the numbers. And let's go to the next test. And the last test for the benchmark for the GPU RTX 4060. Let it run and I'll be back once it's finished. And we're back with the numbers. So the Vulkan score is 16,943. Now, if you are wondering what was the score for the UHD, and this one is going to be funny, well, that's the score. That's the score. Almost 3 times the score. Maybe there was a problem with the test. Anyways, let me share the rest of the numbers and we go to another thing. So I think we're done with the overall tests. So overall, the device is good. There are some ups and downs, but basically that's the base, almost the base option for the P1 Gen 6. And I think it's fairly good to say that this device is okay. I mean, you're getting a good screen, nice camera. I just don't like being filmed, so I'm not checking out the camera, but trust me, it's fine. Good keyboard, nice trackpad. I mean, 2 Thunderbolts, a lot of USBs. You're getting anything. You're getting everything that you need. So let's talk about a few things that were not shown during the test that are usually being shown. So first of all, the noise. I had no noise at all while doing any of the tests. I had to stress test the CPU using the Prime 95 to see how noisy this device can be and how hot it can be. So let me get near the fans and show you. This year, finally, the fans are not that crazy. You can hear them, but they are not loud, extremely loud. It's like, let's say usually when you say a loud device is 45 decibels, I think this one is like around the 38, maybe even lower than that. I could live with it if I had to. So let's get closer to the fans. So as you can hear, they are not the worst. Maybe it's something to do with the some updates that are going to occur during this device life. Maybe there is like a threshold, I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is it's fairly quiet. Now regarding heat, all the years and even up to this year, the parts that were hot on this device are the top, this part. It's very, very hot to the touch. Below that, of course, but I'm talking just about the middle part, not the around the fan, like this part, and it still is very hot. But around the keyboard, again, not but usually it's in the middle. It's not on the right, not on the left, not around the palm rest, just the keyboard and the top. And why? Well, basically there is a good reason for that. Lenovo wanted to push the heat behind the device, but they couldn't because there is a screen. So the heat is getting out from here. So the heat is getting like, I don't know if you can see it from the video. Let's see if you can hear. You can see the fans, okay? So the heat is like pushing it up and pushing it down between this part. So this is why it's getting really hot. There is nothing you can do about it. But yeah, that's what you're getting for having a slim device. Regarding weight, there is no difference between this year and last year's device. The only thing that I've noticed is that, well, maybe this device, but last year's device with the basic i7H device, you would get the 180 watt charger. This year you're getting the 230. So it means more juice, more power, more everything. So that's something to take care. But the weight has not changed at all. I mean, if you have the X1 Extreme, then it's again discontinued, and the X1 Extreme was a little bit heavier just because of the touch screen or something like that. Well, this year it's again same weight, 1.8 kilograms, and it feels fine. There is nothing new, nothing changed in this department of the device. Now let's talk battery. So battery. The P1 is not really, how should I say it, the best device when it comes to battery life. I mean, it's a workstation. It means that it's going to work. There is a consumable amount of raw power from your CPU and GPU. So it depends on your usage, but I would say that you would not get any more than 4 to 5 hours on your battery if you are lucky. Maybe this year the CPU would get a little bit more power efficiency, but I don't see it happening. So again, 4 to 5 hours average on top maybe will change. I mean, just talking right now, the battery changed from 98 from 99 to 98. So yeah, you know, there are things that you cannot change, the battery and stuff like that. So yeah. And the last thing to talk about in this video, I think maybe I'll add something later, is the contender for the P1. It's either way, if you're going to the Lenovo site and you want to choose a workstation, you'll be offered with the P1 Gen 6 and the P16 Gen 2. What it means? It means that if you are on the way and would like to have a slimmer device and you can have a little bit lighter weight work and you don't need all the fans running around, stuff like that, well, you can choose this device. But if you need raw power, you need the numpad, you need a device that is not black but gray, then maybe you should consider the P16 Gen 2. It's new, and I do have a review on it. And if the review has been uploaded before this video, then there is going to be a link. If not, then it will be added later on. But what I'm trying to say is, think carefully before choosing this one over this one or this one over this one. Just go and see them. They are both great devices, and yeah. So again, thank you for watching, and if you have any questions or would like to say to me anything, I will be more than happy to answer your questions. That was a pleasure, and if you stayed up on this long to this video, I would just want to say thank you personally, and big hug. So we'll see you in another video. Bye bye.